Hi everyone, I'm Mr. Christopher, and I'll be the guy in front of the classroom for your section. Before we start the semester, I wanted to take a couple of minutes to tackle the thorny issue of writing with artificial intelligence. Now, to be honest, I want to focus on why you shouldn't do it, but if you ignore that and still do it, kind of how we're going to talk about you'll get caught, what's going to happen when you get caught, how do we avoid doing anything bad with it? And are there actually any good ways to use AI? Well, yeah, the good news is that there are a few ways that you can use AI generators like ChatGPT that won't get you into trouble, and we'll talk about that. Okay? So, first things first. Let's tune into everyone's new favorite game show, Spot the Robot. In this game, you have to read 2 paragraphs and determine which one was written by an AI chatbot and which one was written by a flesh and blood human being. Now, it's not Sunday story time at the local library, so I'm not going to read these to you. Please pause the video and read both and try to figure out which one is the AI-generated paragraph. Paragraph A or paragraph B? Seriously. Go ahead and pause it. I'll be right here when you're ready to return. I can't be sure if you paused it or not, but I really hope you did. What was your answer? Well, the chatbot generated paragraph was B. I even tried to find an appropriate font choice since the Law and Order thing was right there. But hey, it makes it look official. Anyway, did you get it right? Were you able to tell which one was chatbot generated? Are you going to review it again and see why? Regardless, I want you to know something, okay? Oop, went the wrong way. There we go. If you can tell it's AI generated, well, so can I. All right? You really only have to focus on your own writing, so you might have to write 1 or 2 papers a semester for all of your classes. But there's something you kind of need to know. Your English teachers, well, we've got 20 students in a class. We usually teach about 5 sections, so that's 100 students a semester. We usually teach 2 to 3 semesters a year, so that's at least, let's say, 220, because summertime. So 220 times how many years? I've been doing this for close to 20 years. So, all of these, well, it's staggering how many student papers that we read. So, if you can tell it's AI generated, so can I. But even if you can't tell it's AI generated, I still can. Because I have that experience, okay? The point is, we learn your voice, we learn your cadence, we learn your delivery, and it's tough for a robot to mimic a normal human delivery exactly because it's so polished and clean. We're not perfect, folks. That's how we can tell. So even if you chose paragraph A, or can't see the difference between the two, just take a look again. Here we're going into a little bit more detail, a little bit more specifics. We're talking about different slang terms over here. And over here, we're talking about, where was the word? The delicate balance between academic demands and personal growth. No. A newfound independence. No. These are all way too polished. So it's very easy to tell which one is you and which one is the robot, okay? Now, how can we tell? Well, we've got our experience, but you know what? Beyond that teaching experience, there are some really cool tools out there that can help us if we're on the fence. For example, GPT-0 here can tell. It's an AI content detector in case you're confused. And paragraph B was copied and pasted into it, and as you can see over here, highly confident that this text was AI generated. 100% probability. Now, here's the thing. If it's 100% probability, don't you think that would be a certainty? Just questions. So there's that. And then there's also Scribber, another free AI content detector. It's just like ChatGPT-0. It also recognizes this as 100% certainty that your text was written by a microchip rather than a human brain. Honestly, these are only two of a variety of new ways to detect via AI detector. Nothing beats the good old experience, but these sure do help. So, let's see how an AI generator in class works well in practice, shall we? Okay. So, this is what you call an amalgam of personal experience by a teacher and some hypothetical ideas mixed together. It's not true, totally, but it's not a fabrication, totally. Got it? Good. Let's call this story Bobby and the Perils of Plagiarism and Using AI in English. So Bobby, over here, is a Delaware Tech student. I don't know what major, pick one. In any case, he's assigned the Unit 1 essay in his English class. Because life happens, Bobby is behind the 8 ball and doesn't really have anything ready for submission. Honestly, it could be work, family issues, apathy, whatever works for you. Regardless, the essay isn't done and he knows it's worth 15% of his grade. He says, I'm going to use ChatGPT this once just to get me through the first essay. I'm going to be so much better in the next unit. So he pops in the prompt to ChatGPT and it spits out an essay in a few minutes. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Bobby is thrilled because it's grammatically perfect and the requirements are all hit. Maybe the instructor is giving him the benefit of the doubt or whatever, but Bobby gets an A+ on it and doesn't get caught. He's thrilled. And the guilt he may have felt has begun to really fade away. I mean, hell, an A+ is an A+, right? Sweet. Essay 2 pops up in the road, and Bobby looks at it, looks at his life, and doesn't really work all that hard to justify it again. But he decides that just throw that prompt into ChatGPT again, and boom. Commercial break in a football game, and his paper is done again. Well, maybe the teacher again is just giving him the benefit of the doubt, but it's another A+. So he's not really caring about anything except the overall average, so the guilt has completely gone away. It's all about the grade now. He figures he wasn't really supposed to use it. It wouldn't exist, right? So essay 3, the big one. In English 102, it's worth 25% of your grade. So Bobby doesn't even hesitate to use ChatGPT again. And the instructor, by this point, knows there's something hinky or wonky or whatever old-timey word you want to use. They run it through their AI detectors. Alarm bells go off, and Bobby is busted. The instructor, being an awesome human being, gives Bobby the option to rewrite it himself and earn his grade without being totally destroyed in the dean's office. Of course, Bobby chooses to rewrite it. And there it is. Bobby goes to rewrite. However, Bobby hasn't done squat all semester, so his writing muscles are so weak that he can't even tolerate a single paragraph. There's no real directed feedback from the draft, because the draft was AI written, and Bobby never bothered to pay attention to their expectations. What's Bobby's grade? That's right, folks. A bit of failerino. F-. The biggest paper, the most points, the lowest grade. It's not a pretty thing. So let's sit Bobby in the back of our mind now, shall we? We can now talk about the what steps are for academic integrity violations at Delaware Tech. So whatever you want to call them, steps or sanctions or violations or whatever, there are 3 of them. As you can see, the first offense, you get reported to the Dean of Instruction's office, where you are either getting a 0 on the assignment, or you could fail the class itself. It all depends on the severity of the violation and, honestly, the mood of the dean. If it's the first time you've been talked to about this, and you're a pretty good student nonetheless, you're probably going to get the lighter of the 2 punishments. The second offense, well, you fail the class, period. And there isn't just 2 violations in a single class. These infractions follow you from class to class and semester to semester. You could get dinged in your very first semester and then again in your 5th semester. That's still 2 violations. Don't forget that. The 3rd time, hasta la vista, baby. It's done. You're dismissed from the college, and the reason will follow you to the next college. Colleges do not like academic integrity violations, so don't think that that will be overlooked, okay? So as you can see, that's the big deal using ChatGPT. You'd be smart to avoid it at all costs. However, if you're like the rest of humanity, you won't. You'll dip your toe into it. You'll dangle your feet into it. Next thing you know, you're up to your neck in it. Luckily, it can be a good tool, even for an English class. And hi again. So, using an AI generator to help you brainstorm ideas or look for research questions, well, hey, there's nothing wrong with that. So you can type into ChatGPT, can you help me think of topics for a research paper? And that's great. It's wonderful, you know? So if you need help with the writing process, because one of the questions everybody asks me is, Mr. Christopher, I don't know how to start this. I don't know where to begin. So, you know, pop that in there. It'll give you some good coping strategies. Maybe your teacher gives you feedback about some grammar problems. Ask ChatGPT to help you. Can you teach me how to avoid fragments? That might help too. These are all issues that you can talk to. It's fantastic. If you can ask these of your teacher or your tutor, and he or she can help you with a smile, then you can be confident that ChatGPT will not be vilified for doing the same thing. That being said, if you ask ChatGPT to do something that you've never asked your teacher to do, such as write the essay, whole or in part, there we go. See, I'm going to give you an article. I need you to write a personal response essay on it. If I give you my essay draft, can you write me a conclusion? No, that doesn't work like that, okay? It's probably a no bueno. I really don't want to see any of you getting penalized for this. You know it's wrong, so don't insult your teacher's intelligence by trying to slip one in past the goalie, okay? If you prompt ChatGPT and then copy and paste the results into the work, then you're doing it wrong. It's there to help you by teaching you, not to help you by eliminating the need for work. So, oh my God, is there any hope? Is this the end of society? Are we doomed to laziness and failure? Well, of course not. There is hope, always. Okay? Look, whether you've read or not Moby Dick, it was written by a guy named Herman Melville. One of his best quotes, it is better to fail in originality than to succeed in imitation. Since this isn't a literature class, let me tell you why this is important. Even if you aren't a great writer, you can still feel accomplished as yourself and with the work that you put in than being a clueless copy and paster for grades you didn't earn. And every time you sit down to write something, you'll be stronger and better than the time before. Don't deny yourself that journey. If you've cheated before and used ChatGPT or not, you can still move forward by doing the right thing and being yourself. Now, after all that, please be sure to reach out if you have any concerns. That's what I'm here for. And since we're talking about plagiarism and all that, this is the backbone that was written by Mr. Ish for this class, and I've edited it and modified it for my own perverse personality. So I wanted to thank him personally and make sure that he got all the credit he deserved for this PowerPoint and the ideas behind it. I just kind of, anything you don't like is probably mine, okay? So, thank you.